Welcome to How Do You Make a Flowchart or Graphic in PowerPoint that shows process from beginning, middle, and end. Oftentimes what I'll see is people will have a linear breakdown of bullets, and it's meant to be something that visually shows how things connect. And so in the last video, we talked about how you could use a flowchart that's more of a process circle. In this one, we're going to talk about how you can have it be more linear. And this works better with PowerPoint sometimes because they are longer slides. So this also aligns with the timeline video that I have that shows you how you can have something continue past the edge of the frame and make it look like it continues by using the transition tools. So today we're going to be talking about how you can do this in PowerPoint using only PowerPoint tools and how we can go from a slide full of bullets to that. So if you did not watch the other video and you would like to see the circular graphic, please go back and review that. Otherwise, make sure that you subscribe and like to see more of my content. So when we do this, we're going to turn it into a smart art first, just to make it so that it's a little bit easier, especially if you're not as familiar with PowerPoint's tools. So you're going to come over here and you're going to click on this little icon here that looks like a little arrow with some bullets on it. And we are going to go to more smart art graphic. Now we want to do this because if we just insert smart art, it's not going to work from our bullets. And we want to have something that is a process. So I do recommend you look at the relationships on this left before you decide what smart art makes sense. For this particular one, I chose this at the top, but you can kind of look through and see if there's something that makes more sense for what you're looking for. And then once we have this, I'm going to do the same thing we did in the last video where I am going to convert this to a shape because I don't want this to be a smart art because this actually is going to make it harder for me to work within it. So I'm going to make sure I don't need anything changed. So for example, in this repeat one, I would probably delete that because that's not needed once we have the actual flowchart from left to right. I can actually add an arrow that goes back, but if I want to keep it, I can do that. So we're going to come over here to convert to shapes. And now this is a grouped shape that's here. You'll see for some reason we lost the arrow here, but that's okay. We're going to add them back and change it. And what we're going to do is we're going to ungroup this by hitting Control Shift G, or you can right click and then go to group and then group. There we go. So I'm going to select all of these little things by clicking Shift, click Shift. And then I'm also just going to select all of these because the arrows didn't come in for some reason, and we're going to add our own arrows. So once we have the circles and this the rectangular rounded rectangles at the bottom, we're going to come in and we're going to insert, and we're going to insert shape, and we're going to add this arrow, and we're just going to click and drag and hold shift as we draw that, and we're going to change the arrow color to be just a really light gray. And when we come down here, we can choose this weight option down here. So we can make that weight bigger to be something that aligns with what we're looking for. And then I found that arrow to be just a little bit too big. So I'm going to come over to this more arrows option and click on the end arrow. And that allows me to kind of explore a little bit more options. I felt like this felt a little bit less heavy, but feel free to do whatever you like on that. So we're going to make sure that this is aligned in the way that we like it. And then once we have it in a way that works for us, we're going to hold that control and we're going to click and hold and drag it over to be the next one. And then do that. And then we're going to click and drag over all of these and go ahead and pull them down to about where it intersects, but not so far down that you see like where this arrow overlaps with that. We don't want that. So we're going to go up just a little bit. So there's a bit more space there. And then we're going to select all of our circles. And we're going to come over to our outline and make a white outline, and we can change the weight so that it has a little bit more weight, and we're gonna move this to the front. So you're gonna right click on it and say bring to front. And you can see now there's like that little overlap between where the background of this is and where this starts, which we'll see a little bit more when we come over and make the background of this gray. And then we're gonna remove that outline by going to no outline here. And then we want to have that text go at the bottom. So if you come over here to this icon here, you can see it has aligned text. We want it to go all the way down to the bottom. You'll see that there are two things that are two lines. You can change the text if you have the ability to do so, or you can make it so that they all split into two lines is another option. So for example, here I could do click scraps. So hit Shift Enter as you do that. I started working with the images. I felt like it had a little bit, it didn't have enough contrast between the image and the background. So I ended up doing it blue. So you can also do that. And then we're going to insert our images. So you're going to come over here to insert pictures, go to stock images. If you don't have this, you can use Pixels or Unsplash or Pixabay as a free image library option. And we're going to search for whatever we want to put in, and we're going to go ahead and insert these. Now, with these, we want to make sure that we are dragging these images through the corners. That way we have these not change ratio. We don't want to squish them or stretch them like this. We want to use the corners to do so. And then the other thing is we want to make sure that we're cropping it within this shape. So this one would be adding materials to pile. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that it takes up the space that we want it to. And then we're going to come up to this crop option here, and you can see they have these black lines. Those black lines are the frame, and the white circles are the actual image. So I can make this as big as I want within that frame. With this, I actually want to make the frame the same size as that shape. And then I'm going to go ahead and send both of these to back. If I just send this to back, what ends up happening is it goes behind the blue box, which is not what we want. So we want to send both of them to back. And then we're just going to do that on repeat. So for example, if we have, so please don't do that. We're going to use stock images here. And we're going to search for that banana again. And we're going to go ahead and insert that banana. And now it'll populate that banana in the exact same size. I don't have to then adjust the frame at all, except I can adjust the banana to be more zoomed in if I want. So please don't do that. We're going to use stock images here. And we're going to search for that banana again. And we're going to go ahead and insert that banana. And now it'll populate that banana in the exact same size. I don't have to then adjust the frame at all, except I can adjust the banana to be more zoomed in if I want. And feel free to check out my content at makeitmemorable.studio, where I have workshops that you can attend as well. Good luck with your PowerPoint, and make sure that you like and subscribe.